Here are 5 words every RV enthusiast should know: advocacy, community, education, resources, rewards. That's what the RV Advisor was built on, along with protecting your rights. Visit thervadvisor.com.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and my guests are Ashley and Grayson from Our Full-Time Adventure. Hi, folks. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Doing well. And we chatted a few minutes ahead of time and found out that you guys are up near, well, for us, it's up. For some people, it's down or over, but
Right.
near Asheville, North Carolina. Great town.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's such a nice area. We've come through this area a lot because we just love it. And fun fact, we actually went on our honeymoon in Asheville, and that's one of the reasons why it's so special to us too.
Oh.
So love it.
Wow, fantastic. So how long have you guys been together? How long have you been married?
So we've been married. We actually got married the month before we started traveling full time. So we got married August of 2020, and then we started full time traveling September of 2020.
Wow. So you just had your first anniversary. That's fantastic. Congratulations and many more to you both. That is great. And I know Asheville's a big kind of a cultural hub, music and all kinds of cool stuff. And is part of that the attraction for you guys?
Well, I don't know about, we love the music scene and all that, but we don't really play instruments or anything, but we definitely enjoy it when we're walking around the city.
Mhm.
It's definitely nice, adds a nice ambience, however you say it. Ambience.
You say tomato, I say tomato. It doesn't matter,
Yeah, it adds a nice little,
Feel.
twist to the city. The food's good, and
yeah, some great spots to eat there. I know it's it's really become a destination, and for all kinds of things. So I'm assuming the weather's been a little cool now at this time of the year. It's cooled off a lot, huh?
frost on the grass today. The tables were iced over.
Yeah. Actually,
Oh, really?
2 nights ago it was supposed to snow, and we were both so looking forward to it, and then it didn't end up snowing, and we were like, man, but we'll see it soon enough. But yeah, it's been pretty cold. It's been like 20s, 30s at nighttime, and then like 30s, 40s into the 50s some days, which is just perfect weather.
Yeah. But of course, you guys are also from our neck of the woods here in South Florida, so you know what warm winters are like. That's for sure, right?
Yes.
Yeah, year-round summers, warm winters. I know exactly what it's like.
Yeah. So now the traveling aspect of it, you're able to work from your RV. I'll find out about what you guys are riding around in, but also you're able to do your work and from anywhere in the country, I guess.
Yeah, we work online.
Mm-hmm.
You both work online.
I do. So Ashley's really running our social
Social media.
medias, trying to grow them to a point where they could become our job. Only because it's funny how it all started. We were like making videos for our friends and family back home, and she was putting all this time and effort into it. And I'm like, wait, why don't we try to like make these better than what we're making them?
Yeah,
And we can try to monetize them, because I mean, there's so many people who travel, but I feel like there aren't many who are like our age. So we were like, oh, let's try to make some fun videos for people to watch, and if it goes somewhere, it does it. If it does not, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I just decided I'm just gonna put more time into editing stuff, try to be more consistent with posts, and see what happens. And so
Right.
far, I mean, it's slow growth. I mean, a lot of social media platforms are slow growth, but it's just about being consistent.
Yeah.
I think with being consistent and stuff, it has grown, and we'll see what happens with that. Maybe one day it will be a source of income, but if we still enjoy doing it just for fun either way.
Yeah, no, and you've got you said you got a YouTube channel too. You've got about 500 plus subscribers. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's excellent. So, it does grow, and 2000 or more than 2000 followers over on Instagram. And, you'd be surprised how people really love to, not only people who are fellow full timers, but people who are just interested in general in travel. They love to see, maybe they live a little bit vicariously through other people, and they see it and it's like, hey, look where they are now, let's see where they're going next, that kind of a thing, right?
That's actually kind of one of the biggest things we get whenever we see, people that maybe we've, our acquaintances or even people we know a lot better. They're like, we love watching your stuff. Even family, we live through seeing what you guys are doing. And it's kind of cool because yes, we're the ones there actually experiencing it, but we try to share it with other people because we know that it's not possible for everyone to do what we do. So we love to just be able to share it with other people and talk about where we went and what we liked about it and give some information.
That's fantastic. That's great. We're going to find out a lot more about these wonderful folks, and it's Grayson and Ashleigh, and we'll be back on the other side. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Stay tuned.
Here are 5 words every RV enthusiast should know: advocacy, community, education, resources, rewards. That's what the RV Advisor was built on, along with protecting your rights. Visit thervadvisor.com.
We're back on the RV Advisor Podcast. Tom Alexander with you. My guests are Grayson and Ashleigh. You go to their Instagram page, and it's Our Full-Time Adventure. Our Full-Time Adventure. Great photos here, by the way, folks. Really, really cool, super colorful, and awesome destinations. If you like the color blue, which I do, see? I like the color blue. There's a lot of pictures with a lot of blue in it.
Yeah, here's some navy blue, here's some blue.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. My all-time favorite color. So you guys have done some traveling in the last year since you've been full-timers. Why don't you each share one of your favorite places that you've been?
Well, I think we're gonna say the same thing. So
same place?
We have multiple. So you say something, I'll say something else. We have very similar favorites. Like we love the same things.
So it's funny, when we first traveled, we went in September of 2020, we went from Florida through like the Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee. And we're like, oh, Tennessee is our favorite spot ever. If we ever stop traveling, because we weren't planning on full timing. We were planning on full timing for like 2 years and then stopping. We're like, oh, if we ever move anywhere, it's going to be Tennessee.
Now we never want to stop ever. That is not in our plans.
So whatever, we thought Tennessee was like the cream of the crop, the best place to be. And it still is beautiful, but we took a little trek out west and we fell in love with Arizona and Colorado.
Yep.
Specific areas in Arizona would be like Flagstaff's or Sedona area. Mm-hmm. And then in Colorado, it would be like Buena Vista, Salida, which is, they're very close to each other. It's southwest of Denver, or kind of just a straight shot west from Colorado Springs. Yeah. And we just fell in love with
Maybe
these
you
areas.
say why you left Colorado and all.
I feel like it never rained. I felt like, but I mean, obviously it's not true because it snows there, so it has to rain. So it was just, the temperature was always great. There's so much to do because we like outdoorsy stuff. So there was biking, there was hiking, there was rafting, there was anything you can think of, fishing, anything you wanted to do, you can do there. Mm-hmm. And then obviously come winter time, there'd be skiing, sledding, so on and so forth. So it's got peak 4 seasons. You can do everything there. And then
we also just found that the people in Colorado were so friendly and so inviting and so welcoming to us too, which we have found a lot more often than we even expected, because a lot of times it's like when you're traveling somewhere, you don't know how the people are going to be and they don't know how you're going to be. Sure. But we found that in Colorado, they were just fantastic people.
I think also like when you travel full time, you go to these touristy areas, and it's funny because you go somewhere, if you travel somewhere on a plane, you're like, oh, I'm a tourist. But for us, it's like, we're not tourists. Like we live here for the next week or two. So we do everything that's not touristy. Like, yeah, we like to see the touristy things, but I feel like we are not tourists because we're not just visiting
We like
for a
to
day.
try to find more of like the local stuff
Yeah.
than the like tourist stuff, but at the same time we do like to do the tourist stuff just to be like, oh yeah, because everyone knows about it. So those
Sure.
are reasons that we loved Colorado, but Arizona was just so beautiful with the red rocks and the hiking and the hidden ponds and lakes, and it was just so beautiful. Like I loved the whole state, but I think specifically Sedona was just so gorgeous. But
Yeah.
it's cool like being south in Tucson and then there being like the huge cactuses and then going up a little bit more north and then there being the red rocks and then going a little bit more north of that. And then there was Flagstaff where there was like the old volcanoes and stuff.
A
So
lot of trees, which
lot
they
of
don't have on the south side.
yeah. So that
cool.
whole state is just like from top to bottom, everything was so different. So it didn't feel like you were in the same the whole time, which
Yeah.
I thought was so cool.
We also prefer anything out west more than anything on the East Coast because we literally only boondock.
Mhm.
We boondock full time, basically, or dry camp full time. Like we hardly ever have hookups
Yeah.
ever.
And so when you come more like on the East Coast, there's not as much boondocking. And then out west, it's almost like everything's boondocking. So it's so easy to stay out there for free and not have to pay for a campsite and stuff like that. So those have been our two favorite states so far. In the last year, we've done 20 states, and those have been our top two. But we plan on doing all 50, and we're doing Alaska next summer. So we're really excited for that.
Wow, that's great. What you guys should write for the Chamber of Commerce or something. You just get people to come out there. Although we've heard that a lot about places like Sedona. I've not been myself, and I'd love to get out there, but I've got a few friends that just can't rave enough about how beautiful Sedona is. That's great. So tell us about what you ride around in. What are you living in these days?
Okay, so this is our fifth rig.
The fifth rig.
Listen to this. We bought our first rig. We bought November. So I guess I've been full timing longer than Ashley. Late November of 2019 was our first rig. We started traveling September of 2020. I lived in this rig from November of 2019 to September, or not even that long, probably 6 months. It was a travel trailer. It was a 33-foot MPG, whatever they call it, cruiser RV. And we got it because we knew we wanted to get married. I was looking to buy a house, and I was like, these houses in South Florida, for what you get in our area, we were looking in Pompano Beach specifically, $300,000 gets you 800 square feet, and your neighbor was like this close. I'm like, I'd rather buy a camper for $25,000.
And we both always love to travel. So when we started even talking about the idea of an RV at first, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. But then when we were like, if we get an RV, that means we can travel and do whatever we want. And then
even
it
if we
became
buy
more,
a house, yeah.
then it became more appealing to us.
So and then after that, we got rid of that, and we realized that we got a bigger truck because our old we got a bigger truck. So I was like, oh, we'll get a fifth wheel. So we got a 2010 Keystone Montana.
Loved it.
Got it for a great deal. And we renovated it and everything in Oreo. We have two dogs and a cat. We have a dog named Braden. He's about 50 pounds. We have Oreo. He's a Shih Tzu mix. He's probably
12 pounds.
15 pounds. And then we have a cat named Kitty, and she's probably about 8 pounds. And so Oreo learned from Kitty how to jump on the counter and turn the water on, and he flooded the RV and totaled it.
Jeez.
So after that, we bought a 2016. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. The insurance company didn't believe it until they saw the pictures of him on the counter and like, okay.
We did come out on top on that though, because we bought it for so much less than it was worth. So when we did get paid back for it, it ended up being a good thing.
We ended up getting a 2016 with the money from insurance. We got a 2016 Cedar Creek Hathaway, beautiful rig, but it just wasn't meant for what we do because we like kind of boondock full time. So we would take it to spots we were going to be going. And it would, every time we drove it, I felt like it broke more and more.
Because it's just so big.
It was just so big, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So we ended up a 2000. We sold that and got a 2008 Arctic Fox truck camper, and we only had that for a short time of like a month and a half until it had exploded with Ashley and our animals inside of it because of I guess there must have been a propane leak or something. We have no idea.
Yeah.
There was no smell of propane. The propane detector was green. This has literally just happened. Like, that's why kind of the reason why we're in Asheville, because we were in Pigeon Forge when it happened, and they life flighted her to.
Oh no.
Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Oh my.
So 20% of her body burned with first, second, and third degree burns. So we had that for a short time, very short time. But now we have a 2017 New Camp Cirrus 820 truck camper, and it's beautiful. We love it. We're actually in the process of removing all propane from the rig, so it's going to be fully solar. And the heater is a hydronic heater system that usually comes with the rig, but we're doing a diesel electric swap because diesel is not combustible. Like
we're doing some things that have never been done before to make sure that this is safe and comfortable for us.
Yeah.
After the whole
Wow. So well, what a story. I'm glad you're obviously you look great. I mean, you would never have known something like that happened, but my goodness gracious. I mean, that is like, how scary is that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's been a rough like 2 months, but I mean, we're on the up and up, and we're just so happy that we found our new home, and we absolutely love it. And you know, we're all healing up, so it's been good so far. I mean, it will be better.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, you know, the dog turning on the Oreo, turning on the water. That's sort of the insurance claim equivalent of the dog ate my homework kind of thing.
Right?
You know I
know. It's like, yeah, right. That didn't happen.
Yeah. That's amazing. That is amazing. So, well, and here you are now after going through these other 4 units. Now you've settled, you've got one, and you're you know, it's working. It's working for you.
We have no plans of getting rid of this one at all.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We love it.
It's very nice.
Good for you. That's great. Now, you mentioned Alaska as a possible. That's a dream destination. Is that the big one on the docket for you guys on the map that you really want to get up to Alaska, or do you somewhere else along the way that you're thinking about?
We definitely want to get to like Western Montana, because we did go up to Montana, but only did the eastern side of the state. Western Wyoming, because we did go through Wyoming and did the eastern side of the state.
Yeah.
But Alaska, we were like, oh, we're doing Alaska next summer, and we met up with some people we met on Instagram, and we're like, we're doing Alaska next summer, and like, okay, like we were planning that too. So we ended up making like a whole like,
there's a group of us going
like,
now.
Vanagon, or a huge amount of people going like to Alaska. We even have, so in the spot next to us, we're at a campground now. In the spot next to us, I've friends that I've known for 5-6 years, and this morning I said, hey, you guys want to go to Alaska next summer or this summer? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we have a lot of sure's, but we'll see who's up there.
We'll see who actually ends up going.
We know we have at least 1 or 2 other couples coming with us as of now, but we have about 10 other couples who said they would. So
yeah. Has it surprised you? You know, we hear this all the time in the RV community, how bonds are formed so quickly with other folks. Does it surprise you that it's sort of one big happy family out there?
I don't think it surprises me, because I think that we all, like, especially, I mean, I'm not saying that people who do it part-time don't relate as well, but I mean, especially people who full-time, it's like we all have the same, like, I guess, struggles and like the same things that we go through. You
gotta be a little cuckoo in the head.
You gotta be a little crazy.
Yeah. So even with the whole explosion there, we had so many people share our story and like support us, and we were like, wow, like,
yeah,
it's funny because we kept saying up until that point, I was like, oh, we talked to our family back home, like, oh, our RV friends or our normal life friends, like, would be completely separate. It's like, no, these are our friends. Like, these are our friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's not our RV friends. We travel full time. These are our friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we talk to our friends from back home and be like, oh, our RV friends, and it's like, no. These are all our normal friends now, because this is what we do. Yeah. So I mean, we love it. The community is amazing. Doesn't matter what background people come from. Doesn't matter what people believe in. It doesn't matter what people vote. It doesn't matter how people, whatever. Everyone's just one big happy family, and it's the coolest thing to see.
Yeah.
To just sit around a campfire, to sit around in someone else's RV or on your own, and not have to talk about politics, and not have to talk about anything that would trigger people, because even if you did, they don't care. It's like you RV, I RV. I have no choice but to be your friend.
Yeah. You have that in common, and the rest is like, meh, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that said, so who'd you vote for? No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
So, you know, it's funny because we have, you know, we hear those stories all the time, and that, you know, the community is so tight knit and inclusive and helpful. And, you know, it's like you've known these people your whole life. It's like, hey, neighbor, how you doing? You need some help? Looks like you're having a little issue there. Can I help you out? That kind of a thing. We hear those stories constantly. And, you know, when I got into doing this podcast, you know, the reason that I've said this before, the reason they brought me on is because, you know, I'm a long time radio guy and, you know, broadcaster, and podcasting was new, but RVs, I had no real connection to RVs in my life, but I was so curious about the lifestyle, and I was so curious about, I love to hear stories, and I love to hear people's lives from the road, and I love travel. So I said, heck yeah, I'll do it. I want to do it. I want to learn, and I myself live vicariously through a lot of the people like yourselves, out on the road. And one of these days, I'm going to get out there myself and do it. I'd love.
I'm gonna ask you if you got one yet.
No, not yet. But listen, if you get back down here, what's that?
That's yours right there.
Oh, that's mine right there. Yeah, that's mine right there. No, I think that's Colorado, that backdrop there that I use. But well, listen, the next time you guys get back down to the home base here in South Florida, let us know, and maybe we'll do one of these live. We'll do one of these in person. It'd be great to say hello in person. And congratulations again on your success with your growing popularity on both Instagram and on YouTube. And it's going to keep going up. You guys are very, very great, nice to talk to, and a lot of fun to follow. So thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
We actually do have a Facebook page as well. It's Our Full-Time Adventure. It's the same thing.
On Facebook, Our Full-Time Adventure is also on Facebook. So that's where you find them, folks. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Our Full-Time Adventure. It's Grayson, not Jason. It's Grayson and Ashleigh. And folks, thanks again. And we'll talk again down the road. Safe travels and fun journeys.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be back right after these words. Stay tuned.
GPS is Gigi's personal services. She's an RV expert with over 3 decades of experience. To learn more, visit thervadvisor.com today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the RV Advisor podcast. Just want to remind you, RVACA.org is the place to go to register your unit. That's RVACA.org. Also, want to let you know that the RV Advisor newsletter is a great resource for information on the RV industry. And there's a lot of fun stuff and interactive stuff as well. It's the RV Advisor newsletter. Check it out. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.